These are golden nights, no more time to waste. Gotta turn up right, party till the day. These are golden nights, opportunity will wait. Gotta turn up right.
Broadcast live daily from the 71st Cannes Film Festival, right after the red carpet. And here in our studio on the French Riviera, it's the Worth It Show. And now, from the Hotel Martinez Beach, here's your host, Jeannie Gordula.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the Worth It Show. Hello to our audience here in the studio. Hello, Cannes. The world of cinema is a world of glamour. It's also a world where incredible women work, produce films, and express their vision. They give it their all to create fantasies for all of us to dream about. Over the course of the festival, we will be joined here at our studio by some incredible film stars, directors, and makeup artists, and all of you will be joining in with us too. You in the studio, all of you out there on the Croisette, and all of you out there in social media, because you are all very much part of this show as well. Well, tonight your questions will be brought to us by Anana Sarkis. Hi, Anana.
Hi, Jeannie. How are you?
I'm fine. Good to see you. Now, you're from Canada. You live in Los Angeles. You're an actress and a creator. You also have a total fan base of more than 12 million followers. You're going to be our link to our online audiences tonight.
Thank you. Yes, thank you so much for having me. Hi, everyone. You guys can now start asking your questions using our hashtag #WorthItShow. And any questions you have for Julianne Moore or Leïla Bekhti, we'll be looking at them and answering them.
All right. Thank you so much, Inanna. We are broadcasting live on social media to more than 20 countries worldwide. Let's meet tonight's special guests. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome the winner of the César, France's Oscar for Most Promising Actress for All That Glitters, the nominee for the César for Best Actress for The Source, and the star of A Prophet, Leïla Bekhti. Hey, Leïla. Welcome. The star of more than 70 films, Academy Award and Golden Globe winner, and the first and only American actress to be awarded top honors at the Berlin, Venice, and Cannes Film Festivals, Julianne Moore. Welcome, Julianne. Hi, good morning. Also coming up a bit later in the show, every year the man who watches 1,800 films and rejects 1,750 of them, that's the Cannes film director, Thierry Frémaux, the man behind the most glamorous event in the world, is going to be here with us as well. Leïla, Julianne, welcome. We are so happy to have both of you here on the show. It's great to have you. We do have a great show that's coming up tonight. Let me just tell you a bit more about what's you got in store. Coming up, Isabelle Adjani in The Rendezvous. That is our up-close and personal interview with the award-winning actress. Then Camila Coelho in Beauty versus Cinema. She'll give us her rapid-fire answers to our questions, bringing those two worlds together. And in Men of Worth, we will finally ask Eddie DePreto tonight the questions women usually get asked. And by the end of tonight's show, also Julianne and Leïla, if they agree, will step up to our nightly challenge. We'll find out just what that hidden talent they both have is, coming up a little bit later in the show. In the meantime, let's talk a bit more about Cannes. Julianne, I'm going to start with you. If I've got it right, this is your 8th time coming to the festival?
Yeah.
All right, I'm not going to ask you.
So, yeah.
I'm not going to ask you about the first time because I'm sure that's very memorable. What about the second time?
Well, it's right there. It's on the television.
Oh, that was a cheat. Too fast.
That's
about
me
it.
and Tom Kalin, my director for a movie called Savage Grace, and we were here for Directors Fortnight, and it was so fun. We had a fantastic time, and I actually think that that picture was taken right here at this beach.
Oh, wow.
There's an event that night. Yeah, isn't that funny?
Oh,
so
and-
we had a great time. It's always so wonderful to be here. And I mean, it's a real filmmakers festival, and people are so interested in movies and in auteurs, and I love it. I love it.
Leïla, how about you? This is your third time in Cannes. No, the third time you were here in Cannes was with the Source des Femmes, The Source. What's your favorite memory from that particular time? It's coming. Votre souvenir préféré?
Oh, mon souvenir.
Yes, the favorite memory.
Avec
I
la source des
do
femmes.
have the really good memory of the source.
Petite anecdote.
A little story.
14 femmes du
There were
village
14 women in the
venues
village.
monter les
They
marches,
came and they
ici à
actually
Cannes.
walked up the red
L'équipe,
carpet in
de
Cannes.
L'Oréal m'a soutenue sur ce
And
film.
this
et a
team
décidé
helped
donc
me,
de
and they
s'occuper
decided to
du
really
maquillage de
handle
toutes ces
the
femmes.
makeup of all of these
Et au moment de monter
women
les
at
marches,
L'Oréal.
on
They
est
did
venu
this.
chercher
And when we went up
les
the red
14
carpet,
femmes, et on s'est
they
rendu compte
looked
que
for
c'était
these
les
14
femmes qui
women,
maquillaient
and
les
they're women
maquilleuses.
that were making up the makeup for the makeupers.
Voilà. C'est assez joli. J'ai un souvenir assez.
So
Ouais, c'était
it
incroyable.
was really an incredible experience for me.
Julianne and Leïla, how many steps do you think there actually are on those red steps to Cannes? Any idea?
Well, let me see.
55.
55.
Julianne, what do you think?
33.
Ooh, oh, that is a true cinematic reference. Well, I'll give you a little hint, a little piece of trivia just for future reference. There are 24. Ah.
Seems like
Seems like more. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, it really does.
What goes through, Julianne, what goes through your mind when you go up the red steps in Cannes, or you get ready for any red carpet? Do you worry about how you look? Do you worry about tripping? Do you not really care? What do you feel?
Do you mean what goes through my mind when I'm actually walking?
And preparing.
When I'm walking, I'm thinking about nothing. Literally, I go blank. I go entirely blank. And you just think, you're always so surprised when you're done. I mean, it's a lot of effort to go from one end to the other. When you're preparing, there's always, everyone has anxiety. You're in a public place. Everyone's looking at you. So it would be odd to not feel the tiniest bit anxious. But it is something that it gets easier with more practice. And I love the Cannes red carpet, actually, because there are no interviews on it. So that makes it a little bit easier. It really does. If you're just walking and posing, it makes it a little bit easier.
Leïla, I understand that the two of you actually met each other a few years back. You did a cover of a French magazine. Tell me about that.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
If you want. Go ahead. Yeah. Tell me.
Oh, yeah.
Let's see. Oh.
Yes, there it is.
Can you, Leïla, tell me the story of the shoot. What do you remember?
Non, j'étais assez émue.
I was very touched, in
Julianne, c'est une
fact.
actrice
Julianne
dont j'admire le
is
talent.
really an actress that I admire her
Elle
talent.
incarne les personnages comme
She
personne. Et vraiment,
embodies
je
the
dis pas
characters
ça
like
parce
no
qu'elle a
one
fait pour
else.
moi.
I'm not just saying that because she's right next to me,
Non,
but
c'est vrai.
it's
Je
true.
lui ai
I'm
déjà
saying
dit
this
de toute façon.
sincerely. I've already told her that she knows
Mais,
this.
mais c'est vrai que
But it's
j'étais,
true
ça a été une vraie
That
discussion, une vraie rencontre.
it really was a
Et,
real meeting,
J'ai
an
adoré ce moment.
encounter, a special moment, and I really adored this moment.
Oh. Thank you, Leïla.
I actually got a message from the directors that we had both worked with just before we shot saying, oh, you're going to be so excited. You're going to love this woman. She's so fantastic. She's so talented. And they were absolutely right.
Yeah, because of course the Swedish directors Bjorn Stein and Mats Marling that the both of you got a chance to work with on separate projects, but together. All right, we're now going to take a moment to meet the incredible Val Garland. Val Garland is our makeup artist extraordinaire. She'll be joining us every night on the show for a red carpet makeover. Hi, Val.
Hi, Jeannie. Hi, everyone. Hello. Tonight, I'm going to show you on the gorgeous Victoria the makeup that Julianne wore on the red carpet, and you will be able to see how you can take a red carpet makeup home and make it your own.
All right, thank you, Val. We will be checking in to see how that is working on Victoria throughout the show, so go ahead and do that. And Val, as always, thank you so much for sharing your expertise with us. Leïla, I'm going to turn to you now for a couple of minutes, focus a little bit more on your career or what you've been doing. You have a film that's screening here in Cannes, Sink or Swim. We'll talk about that in a minute. I just want to backtrack a little bit first. I want to talk about A Prophet, this film that won the Grand Prix here in Cannes, but you've also done lots of other hits like The Source, All That Glitters. What I noticed in looking at your work is that the films are all very different. It almost seems a little schizophrenic, I mean, you might say it in a kind way. Do you ever feel a bit that it's hard, that it's difficult to jump from one role to the next? How do you go, what's the process like for you?
Je pense que de toute façon,
I do
être
think in
acteur,
any
ça
case, to
demande
be an
beaucoup de
actor, actress,
schizophrénie.
you have to be a little bit schizophrenic.
Effectivement,
In fact,
j'ai besoin de...
I do
Vous savez, il
need,
n'y a rien de plus jouissif que
in
d'interpréter
fact, when I interpret these
personnages
different
éloignés
roles
de ce qu'on est dans la
and people
vie.
that are really different than us in
Et,
life,
et
it's
j'aime
very
l'idée de
exciting.
pouvoir
I like
passer
this
d'un genre
idea
à un autre,
to go from one
soit dans
genre
le
to
drame,
another
soit
one,
dans la
from
comédie.
drama to
Et,
comedy, for example.
J'ai adoré
I
raconter
adore
ces histoires
telling these stories,
différentes.
and they're different stories. That really excites me.
Leïla, thank you for that. We're going to keep talking with you in a moment, but I've heard that our honorary man of the evening is here, the director of the Cannes Film Festival, Thierry Frémaux. Welcome, Thierry. Welcome. Thank you. Please. Thierry. Thierry, welcome. We'll be talking with you a bit more in just a minute, but just how did it go over there a minute ago? It's a crazy day for you.
It's always
Every
a
day.
crazy day, but today is a special day because the film last night was in competition, but it's the first day of competition tonight. And it was a first-time director, Egyptian, and the film is a very simple thing of cinema. It was quite a risk to put it in competition, so even until the last second, before the end, before the credits, you don't know what will be the reaction of the room. And it was extraordinary. So it was a film about a man who has, what do you call that, leprosy? Well, innovation, so no, it was good.
Thank you for that. So many films in competition, also films, or in French we say hors compétition, out of competition. That's the case of your film. It's called in English Sink or Swim, being screened in the festival. It's a comedy, but it sounds kind of like a quirky comedy. Tell me a bit more about that.
Well,
C'est une comédie.
That's true. It
Dramatique.
is a dramatic comedy, in fact.
Non, c'est un film que j'ai
No,
adoré
it's a
faire.
movie that I really adored
Je trouve que
working in.
il est à l'image de
It
Gilles
really
Lelouch, le réalisateur. Il
is
est à la
like
fois
the
tendre,
director's
généreux,
image. He's very tender,
touchant.
very generous,
Et,
very touching.
Oh là. Non, j'ai
Oh
adoré
my
faire
goodness,
ce
this
film
picture
et,
here with this image. I really adored making
tous
this
ces
movie,
hommes
being in
qui
this
vont,
movie, and all of
font de la
these
natation
men
synchronisée.
that are doing the synchronized swimming.
C'était bien de les
It's
voir
just
comme ça.
incredible to see
C'était
them.
génial.
It was just fantastic.
It's funny. It's kind of an interesting twist because it's without giving too much away. It's about women saving men. No. Des femmes qui sauvent les hommes.
Exactement.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Exactement.
Yes,
Comme dans la
exactly.
vie, non?
Just like in life, right?
No, but it's a film. No, for sure, it's a film about men. But the two female characters in the film, the one played by Leïla and the other one by Virginie Efira, are great roles, and great characters. So yes, men will be saved by women.
But I don't know if we really got a feel from that in what we just saw. But it's about synchronized swimming, men's synchronized swimming. Did you study synchronized swimming to do? Yeah. Please go ahead.
Pas du tout.
Oh, not at all.
Pas du tout.
Not at all.
Bien évidemment, travailler avec
In
une coach,
fact, I did work with a
pouvoir
coach,
être
of course,
crédible,
to be
parce que
credible,
effectivement, je joue
because
leur coach.
I was their coach.
Mais c'est eux.
But they
Ont
are
pu,
the ones who
sauter à l'eau.
actually were the ones who
Et,
jumped into the water.
Et puis dans le film, je suis
And in the
handicapée.
movie,
Du coup, c'est,
there is this
c'est une
issue
histoire
of
là-dessus.
disability.
Non, mais je suis assez émue quand je vois
I
les
am
images.
very,
parce que
very touched when I see
j'ai
these
vraiment aimé
images
faire ce film.
because I really adore doing
J'avais
this
20
movie.
kilos de trop.
I had 20 kilos
Et
too much,
C'était chouette de
and it
faire,
was really
et,
great.
Je sais que je
to
dis
be
toujours
in
la
this
même
role.
chose, mais j'ai vraiment... Ça a été une expérience
It was such a
formidable.
fantastic experience for me.
Julianne, when I was doing some research for the interview tonight, I learned that you actually were a bit of a late bloomer when it came to swimming. Is that true?
Yeah, I didn't learn how to swim till I was 26.
26. What? How? What? I mean, I'm sure your parents were wonderful, but what?
We moved a lot. We moved, you know. I was one of those kids who I didn't love being in the water when I was really small. And so as I got older and people started taking swimming lessons, we would always move every summer because my father was in the army. Or, you know, I don't know, we'd go back to my grandparents' house and we didn't go to the pool or whatever. So it got to the point where I was too old to not know how to swim, so I just didn't go in the water. And then by the time I was in my 20s, I'm like, I have to learn or I'll drown. I've got to do it.
I think that was the right decision.
Yeah.
All right, a minute ago, I said we were joined by our honorary man, Thierry Frémaux, but we're actually now going to give the floor to another, what we call man of worth. Tonight we're going to discover Eddie de Pretto, a young music sensation here in France. He's going to answer the questions women usually get asked.
J'ai pas l'impression d'être un objet de désir, je crois. Peut-être un objet marketing. Quand j'étais petit, tout le monde me disait « Ah, t'as un physique atypique » et je savais jamais comment le prendre. Et aujourd'hui, ouais, c'est devenu une force. Ne pas voir les différences et ne pas se victimiser ou se sous-estimer en tant que femme ou en tant qu'homme. Et justement, enlever toute sexualisation des termes et juste parler d'égal à égal. Ouais. De perdre mes cheveux, d'avoir les dents grises. Ça, c'est des vrais problèmes, tu vois.
That was Eddie de Pretto, man of worth. Eddie de Pretto, who's a singer-songwriter here in France, but really the big new sensation, his album's called Cure. He's sold already 70,000 albums. We say he's the nouvelle vague of French music. Thierry! You too, we can say an honorary man of worth here with us. Obviously also the festival director.
You know, I'm the king of the world during... No. I mean, during only 12 days. Then I go back to my normal life.
Aww. And wouldn't it be interesting to see what that was like? Thierry, it's interesting because here we have on the set two women who participated in two films that were prize-winning films here for you. Maps to the Stars, Julianne Moore won Best Actress. You, of course, Leïla, were in A Prophet, the Grand Prix. When you're doing the selection process, do you kind of feel it in advance what film might win?
I feel for myself, and even that I'm not sure, but it's impossible to guess what the jury is able to do. And they are starting today, for example. It's a nice group with the president, Kate Blanchett, but part of them, I know them very well, but in front of the films, you lose everything you believe in. You are totally innocent. And then something you thought it was that kind of film you love, no, finally it's another thing, because, and the discussion, I'm sure will be very intense, and so it's impossible to guess what will be the awards at the end of the festival.
Well, you once said a really great little sentence. Cannes is a bit like wine. This is Thierry who said this. There are good years and there are bad years. How about this vintage 2018?
Well, you know, I'm like a winery guy, just smelling the grapes, and yes, I think there is something this year, but we'll see at the end. I also said, because it's in a way what Woody Allen said about sex. Cannes is like, even when it's not good, it's good. So,
Julianne, would you like to a rebuttal?
I love coming to Cannes. I mean, it's a true auteurs film festival. You know, I mean, you come here. Coming here, it means a lot, I think, particularly in the United States, because it means you're being acknowledged by one of greatest film festivals in the world, and to be here too, and to meet these filmmakers, and to be there for the actors, to be there last night, and to turn around and applaud them. It's such a wonderful moment when they see their film premiered here, especially in competition. It's a very special event.
And this is also, no one can deny, a very interesting, particular watershed moment, some might say, in the entertainment industry. You said that there was a woman who had a very profound influence on you at the festival, Jessica Chastain, who was a member of the jury. You said actually that she helped you understand the importance of what you called a female gaze during the selection process. What exactly is a female gaze?
No, it's that, Agnès Varda used to say that Westerns are film de garçon, film for
Boy
boys.
films.
Boy film.
Yeah.
And we were talking about that last year with Jessica. She was part of the jury, and we talked about, because she said, well, a lot of films, there is a lot of negative character played by women. And I said, yeah, but freedom of the artist. Yes, but in the selection committee, during the process, are you sure that there is a balance between, in your team, regarding the kind of female sensitive or male sensitive? And she was right. And then we hired more women because the taste is not the same.
And it's true. Well, to this day, I mean, we have to remind everyone, Jane Campion, the only female director of The Piano to have won the Palme d'Or, that was 25 years ago. Do you think, or what do you think needs to happen in the film industry, or even here at Cannes, to make another female Palme d'Or happen?
I must say first that we gave Agnès Varda honorary Palme d'Or, and that Léa Seydoux and Adèle Exarchopoulos for Blue is the Warmest Color, they got also Palme d'Or. That year, Steven Spielberg wanted so much to award the actress, and it's impossible to award the actress and Palme d'Or in the rules. So they decided to give three Palme d'Or to the director and the two actresses. So, in a way, it's a little more than only one. But in the world of the 3 stars chef, how many female chefs in France? 1.
That doesn't make it right.
No, and everywhere. It's not only in cinema. It's not only in Cannes. It's everywhere that this fight for equality, this fight for the position of women. For example, I think we screen maybe despite, and it's unfortunate the lack of, for example, she did Susan Beer, the Danish director, and the American director. She did the whatever.
Catherine Bigelow.
Catherine Bigelow. Despite those two, all the female directors in the world came to Cannes in the last 15 years. And they told me that, for example, it's not, for them, it's not the first film, which is difficult sometimes. It's the second film,
Yes. Yeah.
the third film, the salary, all the stuff. It was good yesterday to hear, or today, to hear Penelope and Javier talking about the equality salary they had on the Ashgar Farhadi film. All this stuff is little by little, some stuff to say to the people and then to let them think that everything is possible.
We're going to talk a bit more about that with Julianne in just a few minutes. Just before we wrap up your part of the interview, Thierry, just can you define for us, for those who don't really know what you do, really, can you define the role of the festival director in a few sentences?
Well, there is a role before, which is the selection, making the selection, and a role here, which is being with you.
That's a lovely role. Thank you for coming. Inanna, you've been keeping an eye on the social networks. What can you tell us so far?
Yes, there's a ton of comments. Oh, sorry.
There you
I
go.
have to use the mic.
Yeah,
There are
lots of
a
comments.
ton of comments and questions here. I actually have one for all 3 of you guys. It is from Alexandra Korn, and it's can you describe Cannes in 1 word?
Describe the Cannes Festival in 1 word. Thierry. Ou Leïla?
Surprise.
A surprise.
A surprise. Julianne?
I was going to say unpredictable, which is kind of the same thing.
Yes, good.
Yeah.
Thierry, how about you?
General life.
Life, la vie. Thank you.
Life on screen, life on screens and life here.
Life.
Around, yeah.
Thank you. All right, we're going to take a moment now to get somewhere where you don't usually get to go in Cannes. At least most normal people don't. All of you have been there many times. I'm talking about the famous Red Steps of Cannes. Thierry very graciously granted us the rare treat to film on the Red Steps, which I think has never been done before, an exclusive interview in what we've called The Rendezvous. Now, this is an interview this time on the famous Red Steps with the amazing Isabelle Adjani. Take a look.
These are golden nights.
I've always been a bit rebellious. I do not disobey anymore. I don't obey anymore. It's not exactly the same thing. To disobey belongs to childhood. But I like not to obey when I can. That's for sure. That's the hardest thing to do, to feel free, to belong to yourself. It takes quite a lot of time unless you've had parents that have taught you to feel free, but that's very rare. I mean, I've never met any woman that really experienced that. It's quite a godsend when it happens. Let's say that I freed my freedom. At times, I would find myself not very good looking, even ugly. I mean, one can find oneself ugly. It's so subjective. So I had to make that decision for myself. I had a little talk with myself, and I decided to think that I'm beautiful as a woman in order to make my life happen in a beautiful way. That's what I'm heading towards. I've always done that as an artist. I keep doing that as a woman. And today, I really belong to this movement that's about giving women the right they've always had, but never used completely, to have their own voice. It can be very soft and yet very powerful, and that I really enjoy.
The amazing Isabelle Adjani, who was here on the set with us just yesterday. And Julianne and Leïla, you both had a chance to spend some time with Isabelle over the past day or two. Just a few words on her, and maybe something that might surprise us so we don't know about her.
Oh, she's lovely. She's very sensitive. I think she's very aware of what's happening around her and able to kind of pick up on people's energies. And I think that's one of the things that makes her such a compelling actor, actually.
Leïla?
Oui, non, c'est effectivement une
Yes,
actrice qui m'a
she's an actress
ça fait tellement rêver
that
et
made me
tellement, et qui
dream
me
so
fait
much,
rêver
and
toujours.
still she makes me dream
J'ai passé
a lot.
l'après-midi
I
avec elle.
spent the
Elle
afternoon with
c'est
her.
assez touchant et
It was very
émouvant de-
touching, and
J'étais très honorée
I
de
was
pouvoir
very
discuter
honored
avec elle
to
de
talk
plein
to
de sujets profonds et de
her
je-
and about all these
j'aime,
really
j'aime
thought-provocative
la manière dont
subjects.
elle
I really like the
réfléchit,
way
elle
she
est
thinks.
très concernée, très
She's
consciente des
very
choses.
much aware
C'est très intéressant de
and
parler
very
avec elle.
interested in what's going on in society.
Thank you, Leïla. Tomorrow, it will be the American actress, Asia Naomi King, who will be in the hot seat for The Rendezvous, so to be sure to check that out tomorrow night. Julianne. Hi. I'm going to talk a bit more, focus a bit more on you now. We were talking earlier with Thierry about this sea change that we're seeing, that some people are describing a sea change in the entertainment industry. It's gone through such an upheaval, obviously, in the past year in regards to women, a cause that is obviously important to you. Do you feel things are starting to change?
I think it's important to acknowledge what Thierry said, is that this is a sea change that's happening not just in the entertainment industry, but all over the world. And we were fortunate enough, or unfortunate, depending on how you view it, to have had several some really traumatic events in our industry, and at events that people were probably not disclosing, and a lot of people were not aware of. And what happened was a few very, very brave individuals came forward and said, this is what happened to me. And I think because we are human beings who crave community and crave solidarity, and in a sense we're herd animals. You know, when people step forward that way, it allows other people to come forward too. And so there was a sea change. So what has been so marvelous is the bravery of this group of people has allowed it to happen kind of all over the world, globally. All these women are stepping forward, saying like, "Oh my gosh, this is something that we previously had accepted, and now because of our unity, because of our solidarity, we feel able to step forward and manifest change." So it's not just entertainment. It's really, really, really important to stress that this is about equity and safety all over the world.
So much of that for so many of us as women starts at home. What do you do personally at home for your own children to make sure they're getting that message?
I think you have to, as a parent, you have to model behavior, don't you? I think that that I feel fortunate that I've been able to have a career and that my kids have been seeing that. They've gone with me when I've been working, and we've also had a really strong family life, and I've just stressed to them that I want both things, and I want those things. I wanted those things for myself, and I want those for my son and for my daughter. So if you're kind of clear about it, and then as things happen, as children get older and you're able to speak to them about what's happening politically, it's important that you do speak to them in a way that they are ready for. It's like you don't pull aside a 4-year-old and tell them about this stuff. But I think certainly for my son and my daughter, they were very, very affected by things that were happening, and we discussed it.
Leïla, is that something that you feel at home is important to you as well, to be a role model within your own family amongst younger people, children around you?
Je sais pas, mais en tout cas,
I'm not sure, but
j'ai besoin, oui.
yes,
j'ai eu
but
la
what I
chance
would say is I really
d'avoir une
have
famille
this need.
extraordinaire.
And I have
Il y
a
a eu
fantastic
énormément d'amour,
family,
et je
and
pense
I
que quand on
got a
est
lot of love
très aimé, on peut
in my family. And when you
croire en
are
plein de
loved,
choses, ça nous aide
then
beaucoup.
it really helps us a
Et,
lot throughout life, and that's very
oui,
important to me.
j'espère en tout cas,
I do hope, in any
honorer,
case,
l'éducation
that I
de mes
will
parents
honor
et-
the education my parents handed down
dire
to
que
me,
je continuerai avec
and that I
mes
will
enfants,
continue to do as my parents did with my own children. This is very important for me.
Julianne, you have many projects in the works. One you're working on now is with your husband, who's the writer-director Bart Freundlich. You're working on the remake of a Danish drama called After the Wedding, a film that was nominated for an Academy Award for Best Foreign Language Film.
Speaking of Suzanne Bier,
Yeah.
that was funny that you brought her up. Yeah, that was her film.
And interestingly, you have decided to cast 2 women in the lead roles, which were originally held by men.
That's correct.
Is that, again, why that choice? Sort of like, let's get it in there? Or
No, because I wanted that part. No. Actually, it was not my idea. It was as my husband was doing the adaptation, that was something that he made a decision to do. He and the producer decided to do, and that's when I stepped in and said, well, if you're going to do that, then I want to play that particular role.
Right.
So suddenly it became that much more enticing to me, because that was an interesting role, So I think that is possible. Things don't have to be bound by gender, and it's very easy to switch things around. So we did.
We were talking before about you being a late bloomer when it comes to swimming. Some might say that you were a bit of a late bloomer when it comes to stardom as well. It happened to you in your early 30s, I think. Is that correct? With movies I was
in my early 30s, yeah.
Yeah. Do you think now, in retrospect, it was better for you, easier for you to come to great fame a little bit later?
I don't think of it as great fame. I think that I was lucky in that I started working when I was right out of college, and I worked in television, and I worked in theater, and I worked in movies, and I just sort of did everything, and it was really incremental, and it allowed me some time to develop my artistic taste as well, which I think is important to know that I could do any job. You can kind of figure it out, and then to also know what you like and how you prefer to work. So I like that just as a kind of a growing up process.
And I know it's hard to say because you've made so many movies, dozens and dozens, but if you had to pick one that was emblematic, one that perhaps had the most effect on who you've become today as a person, what role would you say that would be?
The The project that had the biggest effect on me as an actor was the theatrical production of Uncle Vanya that became Vanya on 42nd Street, because we worked on it over a period of 5 years, and I'd never done anything like that in my life. So you go in, and with television and film, you rehearse, you shoot a play, you have a period of rehearsal, and then you run it for a while. But in this case, we would rehearse it and perform it a little bit, or invite people to rehearsals, to drop it, come back a year later, do it again, drop it, do it again, drop it. So every time you thought you'd kind of hit the wall with it, you had to go a little bit further. So that was the thing that changed it for me too, and also knowing that you didn't have to decide where a performance was going to go. You just had to do it that way, and then it might change later on. And that was really revolutionary for me.
Julianne, thank you so much. Now, Val Garland, did your makeup tonight? Is that... Oh, sorry, Thierry has to go.
Yes, I have to go.
Bye,
I
Thierry.
have to go.
Merci énormément. Thank you so much.
No.
Mesdames et messieurs, Thierry Frémaux.
And because I was hearing Julianne talking about her career, but what a souvenir, your work with Bob Altman. With Robert Altman.
That was an incredible scene.
Yes.
Shortcuts. Yeah.
He was a great artist. And, and he actually saw me in Vanya on 42nd Street. That's where he first saw me. So that's how I ended up working with him. Yeah.
Okay.
Thierry Frémaux, merci beaucoup. Bonne soirée. Thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I was just saying, if I've got it right, did Val do your makeup tonight? Val Garland, who is over there right now, working on, is it recreating in the beauty salon? Yeah. Well, as that is going on, we are now going to take a look at a fashion influencer named Camila Coelho. She is actually going to now take our quiz, a quiz which brings together beauty and cinema, kind of what we're talking about tonight. Let's take a look.
Smoky eyes. It makes me feel strong and I can wear it every day. The Notebook by Nick Cassavetes. Getting glammed up for the Cannes Film Festival red carpet. Yes, I almost cried. When I watched Titanic, Jack. When I applied red lipstick for a passport photo when I was 6 years old. Thanks, Mom. When I went to the movies for the first time with my husband. It was so romantic, but I was so nervous. Concealer, you are the best. Inside Man, it's so badass. And I love Denzel Washington.
Every night on the show, we do like to have our guests share with us a hidden talent. Julianne, we did a little bit of research, and apparently, it's already starting. Apparently, you can cry on cue. And Leïla, interestingly, it turns out that you have that same talent. So, okay. She says I use music. We're getting there. Hang on. This is called The Battle. The Battle. All right. It's going to be a very moving moment. So everybody, here we go. I'm going to read you a very sad story. Julianne, Leïla, I'm afraid.
Just can't do this.
I have bad news. The test results are unequivocal. You are not twin sisters. And your parents are not your real parents. I'm looking. I also have to tell you that your dog, Leïla, your dog, Pookie, if only you hadn't thrown the wooden stick into the ocean so far out. All that's left now is this. Oh my gosh, she's really doing it. Leïla. Impressionnant. Je crois que... Leïla.
Non, mais...
I'm sorry.
No, but
Sincèrement,
sincerely,
ça va faire violon et tout ça.
that you can like hear
Mais
the violins
à
playing.
côté de Julianne Moore.
But being next to Julianne is really what really makes me so touched, so moving.
Oh,
That's
so
how I could get my
beautiful.
tears.
Thank you. All right. I'll lighten the mood. I'll lighten the mood to make you feel better. And both winners, look what we have for you, a prize. It is the golden tissue box. A golden tissue box for Leïla, a golden tissue box for Julianne. You're so welcome. You need it.
I love you, everybody.
Alrighty, a souvenir forever. Okay, we're gonna snap out of this now because we don't want Victoria to cry. Victoria, who's over there with Val. Otherwise, she'll ruin all of Val's hard work. Val, how's it going?
It's going brilliantly, actually. I've dissected Victoria's look into 3 stages. Number 1, it's apricot draping with beautiful, breathable second skin foundation. On the eyes, it's all about a gorgeous, smoky sort of take on matte and metallic eyeshadow. And then for the lips, it's a rose is a rose is a rose. It's a rosebud lip in a matte-tastic way through here. So we're doing what's quite on trend, matte and shine. And then I come through with the moist end of the lip colour and then just moisten up the Cupid's bow, and that makes your lips look really full and gorgeous. And doesn't she look gorgeous?
Well, I think that looks amazing. It looks pretty easy. I think I can do that, right?
I think you could do that. I think you could do that with your eyes closed.
Yeah. Okay, also, we have a question from Mao Jacob. How do you pick between a matte or a glossy lipstick?
I think it's entirely up to you, really. It depends. I mean, who do you want to be today? What woman are you? Who empowers you today? I mean, you know, maybe you want to wear a matte lipstick. Maybe, you know, you want to be sexy and glossy. It's all entirely up to you. The choice is yours. Own it.
Val, thank you.
Thanks, Val.
Why don't you all come join us? Please, Val, Victoria, Inanna, come join us now for our big finale. There you can see the before and after pics. So. Inanna, come join us as well.
Thank you. Thanks to all of our L'Orealistas for all the comments as well.
And Inanna.
And keep posting to our #WorthIt show, and we will answer you right after.
Inanna, thank you so much for being with us today. We're going to stay on top of what you've been up to on social media.
Thank you.
Val, thank you again so much.
Thank you so
always
much.
Great
Thank
to have
you.
you.
Thank you.
See you again tomorrow. Victoria, merci beaucoup. Thank you so much for coming in. Look at the two of you next to each other. Leïla Bekhti, thank you so much. And Julianne Moore, thank you very much for coming in. That wraps up for this show. We'll see you again tomorrow, same time, same place, for another Worth It show. Bye.